Hey everyone, Jenna Sullivan here, and I'm going to be reviewing Toups & Co. So I'm going to do my face first, wear it throughout the day, and then get on later on this evening to share my review. And just to kind of give a heads up, Toups & Co. is organic, and there's no ingredient in it that's on my avoid list. We've had some kickback on that avoid list because you are all asking, well, if it's clean on EWG, why is it not clean on yours? It's because I'm looking for synthetic free makeup. I'm a heavy essential oil user. Essential oils don't play nice with synthetics, so that becomes a really big problem. One of the biggest issues with oilers is they think it's okay to put lavender in their mascara, which most mascaras contain synthetics, and you're really causing some big problems there. Also, skin rashes and itchiness and hives will happen when you use synthetic products with essential oils. So if you put any essential oils on your face, that's why our avoid list is so strict, because we want to make sure that you're not putting anything on your face that would combine with the powerful antioxidant effects of essential oils that could cause some skin eruptions. So Toups & Co. is a company that passes with the ingredients that they use. And the thing about it is they're a smaller company. Some of you may not have even heard of them, but they were founded about 4 years ago. They're almost, I think, on their 5th anniversary. And it was a mom who was looking for, she owns a farm, and she wanted to come up with something that she could use that she felt was safe for her and her family. So it's really great because these are all, again, it goes back to the whole using things that you could go ahead and get and pop in, and I can take these out and reuse this. So it's all real eco-friendly. The other thing that's kind of fun that I haven't seen with other companies, they send you samples, so you can actually pay for sample shading, and the samples of like the liquids, which this is a good idea because most of the time when I get liquid samples, they're in plastic things that have then dried out, so you can't really tell if it works or not. These are like the little bear paw, so you can see here, oops, that came off, but it's like a little bear paw. So that makes it convenient to apply and figure out what color is yours. So what I did is I took all the samples in shades that could work, and I just striped them down my face. And I did that also with the sample powders so that I could kind of check. And so I'm just gonna do my makeup and know that I'm pretty much using samples here. I don't really have enough of each of these, which is a little bit of a bummer. There's so many different colors, so part of it is the process of figuring out what you're gonna wanna use. And I'm putting on a primer first, and they gave me a sample of like the primer. So it's just like handwritten on. So again, this is what I mean to say by this is it's a startup company. So you're gonna see like stickers on the labels as opposed to actual, and we've talked about this before. When you start a company, it's really difficult because you can't just automatically get branded things, like there's a sticker on this. And the reason for that is because it takes 6 months to a year for that process to even get, and you have to order minimum, like the MOQ, minimum order quantity, is 5,000 in most cases. So I just wanted to kind of forewarn you that this is a newer company. I'm sure that their packaging will change, or just get updated over time, or maybe it won't. I don't know. In my line of work, when I think about having to put stickers on things, that's a huge workforce consumption. So I call that shrink in the workforce. So once you get to the point where you kind of got your product line down and you know exactly what you're going to carry, that will change, because it's too much to deal with putting stickers on labels. Nobody wants to do that. So but there's the time it takes to make them. It's a lot. Okay, so this is just, I'm putting on the concealer. Some of you have said that you put your concealer on over. I disagree with that, but that's just me. I feel like concealer really needs to go on before, because usually it's a color corrector, or it's a little bit lighter because you're trying to conceal things, and it doesn't have to go on perfectly. This is something where you can take areas of your face and just kind of set a palette. So I'm just kind of helping then the other makeup that I put on smooth out better. So this is helpful. And you guys know, hopefully at this point, I have a really I always have allergies and itchy nose, and I'm always doing this throughout the day. So makeup tends to come off of me right around my nose area. So I tend to try to put concealer on that just to give it a better head start. Okay, so this again is a pretty small little guy, but I believe I'll have enough. I put it on just to kind of see the colors a couple times to test it out. I'm not sure if this will have enough to cover my whole face, but one of the things that we've talked about is the fact that I have very reddy skin, very red kind of undertone that I like to cover over. So what I try to do when I do the stripe down is usually under my eyes, the color is not messed up, but my cheeks will have that redness. So if I stripe it down, meaning like when I'm testing the color, I can really see if that color is going to work with my skin tone, if it's gonna blend in that redness that I have and match the underlying skin tone. So underlying mean if I push on my skin here, the blood goes away and that's the actual skin tone, as opposed to this, I have pretty thin skin. So that's kind of the issue here, is that I just want to warm up my skin a little bit. And what I mean by a little bit, and if you've been following along with all of these different makeup brands that I've been testing out, some of them are much yellower, and that much yellower then changes my skin tone completely, which isn't ideal. It can be okay if it stays put, but if it doesn't stay put and you might blow your nose or wipe a tear off of your eye or something like that, then all of a sudden you have streakiness. So that can become a problem if the tone of the makeup you're putting on is too drastically different. So I just encourage you to look at that. Look at your skin undertone, figure out the correction you're trying to make and how you'd like it to match. Because if I did this to match my entire face, believe me, I would look like I got sunburned. So I'm just trying to figure out how to use this little sample on my whole face, painting a mustache on. So when I use my fingers here as opposed to a brush, I like to rub it in and then just pat it. And that will give it the skin look, because I am doing skin on skin. And all of these different little sponges have different marketing things like, oh, this is diffusing and this is going to give you a super soft look. I don't care. I just want it to look like skin. So I feel like this works just fine. Okay, then I'm going to use their powder. Now, this company does not have a setting powder, so be aware of that. So I don't know if they decided they don't need it because they're encouraging you to use, say, the liquid foundation with the actual mineral foundation. So I've poured some of this, and the color I used for the base was called Nude, and the color I'm using for the powder here is light beige. And the light color, and I think there was another one that was kind of light as well, was too pink for me, oddly, or maybe too yellow, I can't remember, but this light beige worked well with the nude, in my opinion, as far as like the colors matching and feeling similar. So like any mineral makeup, you just want to give it a few goes to get it in there. And I'm using my Savvy brush here. So all of your old brushes you can just wash and reuse. And I personally like setting powders. So I'm going to use a different company's setting powder on this one, just because I feel like it helps keep it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't with this brand, so that we can see. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay, I won't. Since they don't have one, I won't use a setting powder. So I guess, again, I looked everywhere on their site and they don't have a setting powder. So the sample that they gave me is literally just enough to do one face. So I won't be able to retouch this later today if I feel like it needs it. So just be aware of that. So if you wanted to get enough sample to do a full face and maybe a second one just to see, buy 2 of their samples instead of just the one. They come in these little cute pouches. They have a ton of, you know, your whole order comes wrapped in little pouches. So that's fun too. Okay, I had some spill on the desk. I'm going to pick that up and use it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put on the blush. And this blush I really like. This is called Flush. And it's not, and you also have maybe been following me knowing that I'm having a hard time finding blushes that aren't too crazy. And what I mean by that is like too dark, because I'm fairly pale. So that's good. So it just does like Flush, right? And again, you can go ahead and use this as sort of a, in the number 3 prong, just under your jawline, cheekbones, right on the forehead there on the sides. That gives you a little, just a little bit of almost like a bronzer approach. Okay, and now I'm going to use the 3 eyeshadows. These did come in these little packets, so I don't know which one is which at this point, but you can look online if you're interested in these colors. I ended up getting Iced Mocha, Bark, and Flesh. So I'm going to assume the first one that I put on here is Flesh. So this is sort of like Best Kept Secret. If you're like thinking about color matching, I can't really color match the other 2, but I always use Best Kept Secret as a base for my whole eye. So I put the whole thing on. You can also use liquids with these. I believe I haven't tried them with the liquids. I'm just going to do powder today without liquid just to see how it sets. And then the second color is just a little bit darker. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that on the side. You can even see it right there. It comes right on. And then I'm going to just blend this in on my brow here. I don't know what you call that part, the ridge of your bone, your eyeball bone, the socket bone. So I'm just going to do that. It's kind of a light brown taupe color. And I love seeing how all of you apply your makeup. I've just found that this looks the best on me, or at least I like the way I look in photos the best doing this. I don't know. Everyone's different. Okay, and then the final one is darker. I'm going to see if I can I'm going to put a tiny bit of water on here. I don't have an eyeliner, so I'm going to use this last one here as a sort of a liquid. So I'm just picking up a tiny bit of water and then dabbing it with this brush. And I'm going to head over here with a magnifying one here and eyeline it. And that looks really nice because it's just a diffused brown. And that's going to work out just fine. And this is often how I would do my makeup anyways. And then I can use the leftover. Sometimes I'll use the leftover as just a dab under the corner of the outside of my eye. And then I can also go and just pick up any makeup that has collected on my eyebrows to smooth it out. So that's a helpful tip for me. And you can see the difference. It just kind of defined my eyebrow, but not in a massive way. So that's what I truly love about mineral makeup, especially super clean mineral makeup, because I can use it anywhere. Like you can literally take mineral makeup and it's very versatile in how you apply it. So you can use like lipsticks as blushes, and technically you could make blushes lipsticks. It's wild. Okay, hard to do the crossover here with my arm, but I'm sort of okay doing this. I'm kind of a freak about getting my eyes to match. And I turned 49 this month, just in a couple weeks, on January 29th, 2023. And I starting to get little gray eyebrow lashes, which is like just fantastic. Okay, so then I'm gonna put on the mascara here. So see how this goes. So it's a little crooked. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that. I haven't used this at all, so I guess it's not. So I'm gonna straighten it out. So this has been the other plight, is finding a good mascara that's clean. It's almost impossible. So I'm not gonna hold out hopes. I am not. I'm just letting you guys know. It's so hard to find a fully clean mascara that doesn't clump or do any of the things. So, oh, that's a little blurry. So the little sticker is still on there. All right, I'm gonna go back to this one. All right, so right out the gate, it kind of puts a lot on. So typically I would just go ahead and like just pull off some of that, but it's smoothing out nicely, which is good. And we can try and maybe see if it'll do a double coat well. I'll play around with that with one eye maybe and see what you guys think. So far, so good. And it has been cold here, so I warmed this up because I find that the flaking happens on mascara when it's not warm enough because of the wax and stuff. So sometimes there's beeswax. I don't know what's in this exactly. I just know that there's no synthetics in it, so that's a good thing. No toxins or synthetics. I believe they're vegan too, so I doubt there would be beeswax in here. So I'd have to double check. So you know the trick of like rose oil or Royal Hawaiian sandalwood where you stick it in your bra. So that's what I did for this mascara. I had it in my bra for a little while just to warm it up so it wasn't cold applying it. And you can do that for any natural makeup that you know, they don't have things in them that make them slick. So like even your lip glosses, things like that are helpful. Anything that's liquid that's supposed to be liquid on a fully natural, like no synthetics. That's probably the biggest, I guess, complaint that people would have is that right out of the bottle, it feels a little stiff, but that's again, because you're dealing with a different animal. So I want you to remember that. And just remember, you got to warm it up a little bit. All right. My left eye is always harder. I always get this like weird lash right there that does a little funky trip. I did get these today. You can see all the fingerprints on the other side from me doing this. Totally funny. Okay, so here we go. So you can see my eyes, eyeshadow, eyelashes. I'm going to do a second coat so you can see how that goes on. I think it looks good like that. I would probably leave it like that. I wouldn't add a second coat technically, but I'm going to see if this does second coats good or not well. Because that's, I know some of you like to get extra thicker, like longer lashes. And again, with natural, it's harder to do. So I probably wouldn't do a second coat with this. It's not bad. I don't know what you guys think, but only because I just like it to look more natural and less crazy. But some of you love your big eyelashes, so you go for it. So we did 2 coats here. And I got a little up there, of course. All right, so now we'll do the lips. And let's see, I have 2 here because I couldn't decide. So I have Jealous Much and Nude with Attitude. So these are the 2 colors. So Jealous Much and Nude with Attitude. So depending on what I'm wearing is kind of how it would go. And this one's a little more brown. And so I talked to you guys, I think yesterday about that, you know, if I'm wearing more neutral tones, I think that looks really nice. And then this one is Jealous Much. Also, actually, that's maybe even more brown. I was thinking that was going to be more pink. So that's more of like almost a golden neutral. I like it. I like them both. So we'll see. And I'll ask Tim which one he likes the best. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to show you another hair trick. So I'm just letting this grow out so you guys can see. I ended up getting the light, the fair for Let me see, was that the one I was going to use? I got to be careful because if I start testing them on my head, I start getting like orange streaks and stuff. But I think, yeah, light. Oh, I just dropped it. Okay, so we're going to use light. So the biggest problem with minerals, my friends, is that if you drop them, they kind of stain. I remember in our like place a while back where we lived in this other space, I did my makeup in front of the mirror and the carpet was just, you can't get it out. So be aware of that. Be real careful. Almost best to do your makeup in an area that is not irritated damage. So I'm using light. So let's just see how this goes. And this is to cover over my gray. And this is lighter than I've done before, but I found that in the videos I can't see as much. So I had to really check, and then I'd have like a yellow, like a full-on orange part, because the video lighting is a little bit different than natural lighting. So this matches much better my actual colored hair color. So you can see I have a mix of sort of darker hair with white, right? This is like the salt and pepper of going gray. And I color it this blonde color for two reasons. One, Tim likes it better, and I don't have to look at me, he does. So some of you have gotten kind of on my case about why is one of your criteria for makeup if your husband likes it? What does that matter? As long as you like it, it should be fine. I'm like, no, I 1000% disagree with you. My husband is my partner. He's the one who has to look at me. And if he's looking at me going, man, my wife looks terrible in her makeup. Do I want that? No, I want him to say, dang, she's hot. You know? I mean, come on, you guys, let's use our heads and be wise. So ask your husband what kind of makeup he likes on you. And if he doesn't like that you don't wear any, or he doesn't like that, because that's the thing, for a while I wasn't wearing any makeup, and I said, so, hey, I haven't done this before. This was through COVID. Is okay? Do you feel like okay? He's like, yeah, you look fine without makeup. I do like it though. And he told me this. I like it when you have a little eyeliner on and maybe a little mascara. Like that's it. That was all he really cared about. So ask them. You'd be surprised. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, you put way too much blush on. They will. If you ask, they won't tell you if you don't ask. And don't be mean. Don't be mean if they answer in a way that you're not happy with. Honestly. Your husband should be your best friend, and you should be able to ask questions like that. So anyhow, I got to wash my hair today. It's been raining here and I kind of curled it yesterday, and this is the flattened curl. So that's the makeup, and I actually really like it. We're going to see how it wears today. And then tonight, I'm going to give you my thoughts on how it wore throughout the day, what Tim said, how I felt about, did I have any issues with any makeup fails during the day, how it kind of wore. And then we have one more company tomorrow, and then we're going to be doing the full review on all the companies and which brands made it, which brands didn't, and then my favorites. So the actual grand finale happens tomorrow night. So make sure you are on my email list. That is at vitalityedu.com/subscribe. I know I have a lot of places for you to view these things. So if you're just watching the replay, you can always catch them on YouTube. It's Jen's Tips. So JENSTIPS. If you want to follow along in the actual conversations, because the conversations have been wild in our group on Facebook. And I know not everyone's on Facebook, but if you have friends, add them. It's a free educational resource group for young living, all things healthy. We're doing challenges like a liver cleanse, and we do all sorts of emotional support things. And it's based on just lifestyle and changing out things in your home for your hormones and whatnot. And that is called Club 31 Oils. And over there, we're getting into all the hot topics on all the other makeup companies that I didn't test and if they're clean or not. So Toups & Co. Organics passes totally as far as their ingredients. So that's a plus. We can use them with our oils. You can put frankincense on your face and then put this on. I can put lavender, lemon, and peppermint on my jawline if I want, or stress away down my neck just because I want to put them on and not feel like it's going to interact with any synthetics. But Toups & Co. is a thumbs up as far as the ingredients. And then tonight I will share with you how I feel about how it wore. All right, everyone, have a great day and we'll see you soon. Bye.